only want more money because you feel like having more money will make you feel better. When it's not the money that makes you feel the way you feel, it's the experiences that you're trying to disconnect from that made you feel. It wasn't not having money that caused you to not love yourself. It was the fact that you didn't feel like you were enough because your mom never told you that you were enough. Your dad never told you. So you use that as fuel to make you get the money. Now that you have the money, that little kid, that little girl, that little boy is still there. But most people don't want to be okay with themselves. So in today's society, it's about chasing that bag and getting that money. But it's like you're killing yourself.
Najee, hustle culture. What's up, y'all? Hey, I ain't been on here in a long time. For those who don't know, I haven't told anybody. I've been very, very quiet. I've been working on a couple of things, mostly myself. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know I moved to Africa, Senegal. Very, very beautiful place. Hey, Najee.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm great. How about
I'm
yourself?
doing amazing. I'm doing amazing.
I can tell. I told you, like I was saying earlier, you're glowing. The skin's looking good. The whole shebang, man. Everything's popping. Look at you.
Y'all want to see my Airbnb? I'm gonna show you.
Oh yeah, I want to see it. If they don't, I do.
Show y'all. Oh, this is just the living room. I wish I can show y'all outside. I don't know how lit up it is. I don't know if I can show y'all outside.
Oh damn.
Oh my god, I love this place. So anyways, actually I could do the live out here.
You could.
All right, so I wanted to tell you, Najee, about what's been going on in my life and some advice that you gave me some years ago that it just now catching up to me. I remember one time you was like, Khadijah, it's not them. It's not the man you're dating. Or it's not, it's you. You don't feel safe. And I remember saying, well, ain't he supposed to pay the bills? Ain't he supposed to make me feel safe with the money? Like, ain't that what a man's supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Remember that?
Yeah.
And you was like, Khadijah, you got to feel safe with yourself. So it took a lot of years, but I realized that you was right. You was absolutely right. Like, it doesn't matter who you with. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how much money in your bank account. Because I made so much money, the average person would have been like, oh, I'm good. But I was I still wasn't safe. It still wasn't enough. So I wanted to talk to you about how we think. Because I know for a fact I was driven by the hustle culture. I was driven by my trauma, trying to make people happy, trying to feel good enough. And that's what drove me. But really, I wanted to find safety. So if we could talk about safety in a hustle culture, like.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's first and foremost, that's amazing. And I'm glad you were able to really recognize that because that's what it was. A lot of times we've been taught that achieving things externally will cause us to feel safer internally when it don't work that way. No matter what you get, if you don't feel like you're enough, if you don't feel like you're safe enough, if you don't feel like you matter, the things that you express or the things that you experience will always reflect that back to you, even if it's everything you thought you wanted. But most of the time we don't realize the things that we want is based on us lacking within ourselves and not feeling like we're good enough. So we're being driven by the things that we think we want. But the reality of it is we just want to escape from how we feel. But once you're okay with how you feel, then your relationship to yourself shifts. Therefore, the things that you once desired will no longer be the same thing because you realize it's an internal thing and not an external thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
When you was on your live the other day and you was talking about safety maybe in like relationships, but it was like you can't, if you don't love yourself, you can't expect somebody else to love you. Relationships, we're trying to find safety. It's almost like a little kid running to their dad, like, hey, daddy, but they're a grown man and your man or husband, or it's like, daddy, I'm in this crisis. Daddy, you know what I'm saying?
100%. People say they want a partner, but they really just want a parent. That's all it is. Or they want to be the parent to their partner. So they want to be the mom or the dad to the person that they never received the mom or their dad, or they want to be the version of their mom or their dad that they would never receive to the person they're experiencing. It's almost like when women have kids. Most of the time they're having kids based on them feeling like my mom wasn't good enough, so I'm gonna be a better version of my mom to my kids. And it's like you're going into it with the wrong mindset. You're not supposed to look to a relationship as a way to fulfill you. You're looking to the relationship as a way to experience you in the different aspects of who you are, because they're a reflection of that. People don't get that though, so they think that you're supposed to love me more than I love myself. And then when you don't love me more than I love myself, I make you wrong for it. And that's what the codependency thing is. That's what it's all about.
So I got a question for you. Why do you think, okay, I always recommend you because again, you opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And it literally took 2 years sometimes, 3 years sometimes. Why do you think a lot of people avoid you?
It's just because the thing that I say is it's one of those things where it's deaf to the story of who they believe they are. So it's like a lot of times people identify with their belief system based on who they are as a person. So in talking to me, my perspective on life isn't based on what everybody else believes. It's based on actually experiencing the things that I experience. My biggest thing is like, if I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and I'm not getting the result that I want, I'm going to change up how I do things. But in today's society, so many people have been taught that if you go from person to person to person to person, then you'll finally find someone who appreciates you. You'll find somebody to be with. But the reality of it is you're only going from person to person to person as a way to escape from being with you. Most people don't want to be with themselves. And a lot of times when people connect with me or when I talk to people, it's you can't make somebody else responsible for how you feel when you talk to me, because I give you your power back. So it's like a lot of times people don't want their power, and people rather be victims to their own emotions than realizing like, nah, you're not a victim to your emotion. You are the one in charge of how you feel. But it's easier to make other people responsible for how I feel to keep me stuck in being a victim.
I agree with that. A lot of people ain't ready.
No. But they think they are. They say they are. They want a familiar or comfortable growth. It's like you can't grow living in your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is really just a limitation that you're living within. It's like I want to
Yeah.
grow, but I want to grow comfortably. What is a comfortable growth? What does that look like? In order to grow, you have to become something that you once wasn't. And most people do not want to become something that they once wasn't, because we've been taught that the unknown is scary when the unknown is not scary. The unknown is unknown. So how are you scared of the unknown if you don't know what comes from the unknown?
That's why I don't want to coach people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like once I realized that, I remember, I think you said that one time. She was like, man, people on, but they don't really know what the hell they talk about. And I'm like, how do you go? And so now I'm seeing her like, damn, you really can't. I mean, you can coach people, but I just feel like if people don't try to become aware of themselves, it's hard for you to coach them, because they have to bring it out. They have to tell the truth. They have to want to be vulnerable with you. They have to. And for me, I'm talking about as coaching for me as far as like business, because I feel like if you don't know who you are, it's so hard to help you find out what you want to do in life. It's hard when you haven't faced your emotions and you don't really want to go deep. Like, you know me all the time. I'm like pain points. If you don't want to touch your pain points, then how are you going to touch the people with a product that you're trying to sell me, but you're not even connected to that product, because you haven't even connected to that pain point that made you create this product. A lot of times we create products because it may make us feel better. But then after that, we lose interest in it because we don't really want to play around with it. We don't really want to study it. We just create it and be like, all right, here. A lot of us can't explain our products. You know,
100%.
so it's like, for me personally, I just be like, man, I honestly don't even want to like coach people when they're making money, because it's like, until you know who you are, like become aware of yourself and face your fears of, really putting yourself out there. It's nothing that I can do to help you.
100%.
Help you.
100%. And in today's society, most of like the healers or coaches, they're coaching people in the areas in which they haven't healed or learned to coach themselves in. And most people don't see that because they pay attention to the followers or they pay attention to the money. And it's like, how do you plan to get help from somebody who's not at that space within themselves? And you could tell by how they engage and interact with certain people. If you're a coach and you're allowing somebody else to make you angry or make you cuss them out, then it's like, how are you coaching them on how to be a certain
Yeah.
way when you're not even that way? So,
Yeah.
and I think that's where a lot of times the way that people look at certain people is based on how they see themselves. So if I feel like I'm not enough within myself and I see you doing a little bit better, then it's like, ooh, she could coach me on how to become her. But it's like, no, nobody can coach you on how to become them. They can help you become more aware of yourself, but you have to be willing to be open to becoming more aware of yourself. A lot of times people want to be coached the way they want to be coached instead of allowing that person to help them become the best version of themselves that they don't know how to become without that person, because if they did know how to do it, they wouldn't need that coach there to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of it's interesting. It's really interesting because of the way that social media is set up, that where people don't really know how to pay attention to things. So they think, oh, she got a lot of followers. Oh, he got a lot of money. Oh, he's Instagram famous or TikTok famous. Therefore, he must know what he's talking about. But I'm like, social media is not real. It's not a real thing. And once you start to realize like people portray on social media a certain way so that certain people could see them from a certain light, but that's their way of trying to overcompensate for the fact that they don't feel like they're enough within themselves, then you'll start to realize like, oh, they're not really secure within themselves. They're just projecting. They're
Yeah.
just perpetrating. They're not being genuine. They're not being honest. They're not being real. But they have the followers to back it up. And in today's society, most people are sheep. They just go along with what everybody else say without having their own mindset, without using their own critical thinking skills. But it's how we live. We're programmed to follow the crowd. We're not programmed to have a mind of our own. We're not programmed to think for ourselves. We're programmed to listen to whoever else told us we should be this way, and then we do it.
I think it also go back to what you said as far as fantasy or emotional intelligence. It's like my well, I'm gonna just let the cat out the bag. My husband now, I got married.
Hey!
So he told me like, Khadijah, you get so excited about people before you get excited about almost like a fantasy. So like I see somebody and if they are able to get my energy riled up, I'm like, oh, I want to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want, and it's like instead of me being logical,
Mm-hmm.
I have allowed my emotions to completely take over. And I now am like I'm just reacting. I'm not even thinking. I'm just reacting. So I think a lot of people, it's sad to say, they get excited and they spend their money. They get excited and they just run with whatever the person says. They get excited, like you said, they get caught up in this narrative that they've been studying and studying and studying, this feeling that they're feeling that this person is making them feel,
Mm-hmm.
that they are, again, like you said, their emotions are making them just run like sheep instead of saying, hold up, let me actually, what did they say? Like, let me not be in my emotions. I think we're always in our emotions. So instead of saying, let me not be in my emotions, it's just like, I'm just going to keep feeling this way because I love this feeling. I'm going to keep on, doing things based off of how I feel. So, yeah.
100%. And it's one of those things where once you start to realize, like, it's not the emotion itself that causes people to do the things that they do. It's them reacting from the emotion. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
you're not really designed to react from your emotion. You're designed to respond to your emotion because that emotion is there as a way to bring awareness to you. But most people have been taught to disconnect from their emotions. So therefore oh, they made me feel this way. Oh, this person is doing it. It's like nobody can make you feel your own emotions. That's why you feel them, not the other person. But as long as we're associating our emotions to another person, all we're doing is abandoning, disregarding, and neglecting ourselves. But that's based on the trauma. You have to, when you go through traumatic experience, or if you grow up in a very chaotic household, you learn to disassociate from how you feel to make sure you're taking care of everybody else. So when you do that, you start to associate how you feel to other people. And that's not how it works. So a lot of times, again, it's one of those things where when I don't feel like I'm enough and I listen to you and you say things and it's like, ooh, that sounds good. Ooh, that lights me up. Ooh, that. And it's like, wait, hold on. This feeling is here to help me respond to this. Why am I being lit up by whatever this person is saying? Because all they're saying is a bunch of words. It's my interpretation of those words that's lighting me up, not the words that that person is saying.
Yeah.
So it's really me and not them. But as long as I'm making it about them, I'm not paying attention to me. And most people don't know how to pay attention to themselves because they've been taught to not look within. We've been taught to look outside of ourselves as a way to make us feel better. It's a codependency thing. But that only stems from children. Only children should be codependent, not adults. But most of us are just emotionally unregulated children. So now we're seeking to find somebody to play the role or fill the void within us based on them playing a role of being the parent we wish we could have received that we didn't receive as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of life. That's the wait. So time out. You live out there now?
Well, back and forth, but
Oh, okay.
I have an apartment being built here. It'll be done in a week. So yeah.
Wait, when you say an apartment, are you talking about a whole?
No, it's a tiny house. It's literally like a tiny house.
Okay. I'm thinking when you said apartment, I'm like, she about to have a whole condominium built with houses and everything.
Not an apartment building, no.
Apartment. Okay. That's what's up, though. That's dope. But yeah, it's just one of those things where a lot of times when people really start to understand, once you truly learn to love all aspects of you, the way you relate and connect to other people will 100% shift. But we live in this world where we think that I don't love me, so I need to tell other people how to love me, and then I make them wrong for not loving me based on me not loving me. It's like, I want you to love the unloved parts that I feel about me more than I love me. And it's like, they can't do that. That's impossible. Literally. Because even if they were to love that part of you, if you don't feel like that part of you is worth being loved, the love that you're receiving won't land. It won't stick. You won't believe it. You will downplay it. You will shut it down. You'll resist it because it goes against what you actually believe about yourself. But again, we've been taught we need to find somebody to complete us as if we're not already whole within ourselves to begin with.
I'm going to tell you, I have been dating this dude, right? And I talked to you about him or whatever. And it's almost like I have everything I could have ever wanted in a man. It's like a chase that I think a lot of people, they chase this fantasy. I want this man as muscular. I want this man as this 6 foot tall. I don't know what the heck is wrong. Like, why people be like 6 foot tall, dark skin, blah, 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 right?
Because it symbolizes protection. If a man is tall and big, that means he could protect me. But the reality of it, that don't mean shit.
Yeah. But it's like, once you get all that, you will see. And I think that's the problem. Most people don't get to see the things that they're chasing. They don't really get to the ending. They never do.
100%.
I've gotten to the ending of me making enough money to be good, well off, right? And I got into the point where I'm in love with someone. I'm just like, but you're just a person. Like, I love you, but you're just a freaking person. You are amazing. But it's at the end of the day, it's like, Khadija, like you said, it's like, it's me, my perception of this man.
100%.
It's all my perception. So it's like when people we live our entire lives to find love, our entire lives. And then it's like, most people don't get it because, like you said, you only receive who you are. So most people because they don't love themselves, they get somebody that don't love themselves, so they never get their dream dude. Well, I ended up getting my dream dude, and I just be like, damn, like, what the hell is the chase for? What's the chase for? You're just a dude. I'm just you know what I'm saying? It's not to be chased. It's nothing that big of a deal to just be like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life to find this man of my dreams.
100%.
It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's
not a real thing.
Who you are.
It's not a real. Like I tell people, the only person you'll spend the rest of your life with is you. But we think, oh, I want to find somebody that I can spend the rest of my life with. But you only want to spend the rest of your life with somebody else when you don't want to be with you. Yeah. And it's really just your perspective. That's it. How you perceive this person will determine how you feel about them.
Yeah.
It's like they can one day. They'll do something. It's like, oh, I love them. Then the next day they do something that you didn't expect them to do. And all expectations is how you think another person should speak or behave according to your feelings. So pretty much you projecting onto them, wanting them to be the version of you that you're not being for yourself. That's why you expect for them to be that way.
Yep.
So when they show you, it's like, oh yeah, I don't feel the same about this
Yeah.
person. But that feeling was already there, and that's based on you not liking how you feel and projecting that onto them. Because if you were okay with how you felt inside of your own body, would you want that other person to change their
Yep.
behavior? No. But when people aren't okay with how they feel, they think another person, it's you're responsible for how I feel. You made me feel this way. And it's
Mhm.
like, no, you already felt that way prior. You just was trying to disconnect from that feeling and finding somebody that you can make responsible for that feeling. That's why you were looking for a partner. It's like everybody, we've been taught to search for love instead of just being it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn to be love, you'll start to realize and start to see things that represent what you're being.
Yes.
That's why you can only love another person to the level in which you accept your least favorite part about yourself. And your least favorite part about yourself is usually the hurt little girl inside of you that
Mm-hmm.
you've been trying to disconnect from by trying to find another person to almost soothe instead of realizing, like, no, that little girl wants you to connect to
Yeah.
her. And once you allow yourself to connect to her, then your relationship shifts. So now, therefore, the way you see people will shift because the way you see yourself has shifted.
That's it.
100%. And people don't get it though. They don't get it. It's like, no, I need to control external situations to make me feel better. And I'm like, you only want to control the external situations because you're scared.
Yeah.
So you're living in a constant state of survival. So now you're connecting to a person as a way to survive instead of as a way to live. But once you learn to live, you'll see the beauty in life. Most people can't see the beauty in life because they're stuck in survival mode. That's why they're trying to control it. But it's like, no, you don't need to control life.
Survival mode. Survival mode. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think that, once I get all of this money, I'll be able to control my situations. But it's like, man, like, and that's why people be like, more money, more problems, because what people don't understand is there are things that, hi, business bully, there are things that money cannot help with. That's why you have rich people who get rich and then they kill themselves, they kill their
100%.
family, or they just like, oh my God, there's nothing to life because there are certain things that money will not solve. So until you resolve and get out of that survival mode, no matter how much money you're in, no much money, how much money you have, if
Mm-hmm.
you're still in that survival mode, you will never be happy. Nothing will make you happy because it's but so much money can buy you.
100%.
Money cannot buy you love. That's why people who are, we got rappers and stuff, and they buddies be killing them. They family members turn on them. People understand when you start getting money, your relationships change. Like you start to see that people start treating you different. People don't. Oof. People think that you cool. Like when y'all both broke, it'd be like, oh well, it's kind of like you share, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'll take dinner. I'll buy you this. But then when you got one person that's making all the money, now suddenly it's like, oh, you're taking everything. Like people don't understand dynamics change when you start making a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money. So it's not about making money. It's literally about survival. Like get
100%.
out of that. I don't feel safe in my own body.
Mm-hmm.
You
100%. And that's why the chase for money is the way we've been programmed to do. Like, you only want more money because you feel like having more money will make you feel better. When it's not the money that makes you feel the way you feel, it's the experiences that you're trying to disconnect from
know?
that made you feel. It wasn't not having money that caused you to not love yourself. It was the fact that you didn't feel like you were enough because your mom never told you that you were enough. Your dad never told you. So you use that as fuel to make you get the money. Now that you have the money, that little kid, that little girl, that little boy is still there because it was never about the money. It was about the love. That's it. Children just want love. What is love? Acceptance. Feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling like they matter. Having $1 million, having $1 billion won't make you feel like you matter because if it's the money that makes you feel like you matter, you're overcompensating. So
Mm-hmm.
now you're using the money as almost like a mask to shield the fact that you don't feel like you're enough. But once you get that money, that feeling will still be there because you feel that way already. It's an unconscious thing.
Not only that, but you attract an abundance of people who will feel like you're not good enough.
100%.
That's why people with money, they give so much money to their parents, to their brothers, to their sisters. Like people, it's called, I think, survival,
Not remorse. Is it something? No.
guilt,
No,
survivor's, right? Survivor guilt.
Nah, survivor's guilt is like if somebody's in a car accident and that person dies, your friend dies, but you survive, and you feel like it should have been me instead of them, type of thing.
It's like
Hmm.
that though. It's like I feel guilty that everybody that I made it and they didn't.
Yeah.
And then attract the people instead of the people that you're around making you feel like, oh no, you good, you good. They will put pressure you. Oh, you think you all bad. Oh, you think you good. And you start feeling like, oh, I'm not, in a sense, I'm not good enough. I should not be on this pedestal. I should be where y'all are. So I'm gonna make y'all feel like we're all the same, and I'm gonna just give you money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just feed you how you want to be fed, but I don't feel guilty about it.
100%. And a lot of times, like, it's understanding people just they project onto you. It's like, oh, you think you better than me. I never said that. You think that
Right.
because you think you're good. So like it's like once you start to understand, like, a person can't project, or a person can't make you feel a certain way unless you already feel that way. And a lot of times when it comes to like people having money and trying to almost like make other people feel better, is because they don't like how they feel, type of thing. It's like the more money I give, is designed to almost give me that dopamine rush to make me feel like I'm better than what I actually was. I'm chasing, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that. Accept
Yeah.
me, validate me, accept me, appreciate me. And it's like you're only doing that because you don't accept you. You don't appreciate you. You don't validate you. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like once you learn to be that way for yourself, you'll no longer require or need other people to do that for you. You'll no longer need another person to be a certain way in order for you to feel safe, because you'll feel safe with you because you know you're going to be okay with you. But most people don't want to be okay with themselves. So in today's society, it's about chasing that bag and getting that money, but it's like you're killing yourself, literally.
I remember Steve Harvey said the hustle isn't free. I think he said the hustle isn't free.
Hmm.
And I don't think people really realize like hustling actually does take a toll on your body, a toll on relationships. Takes a toll on it takes a toll on a lot of things. And yeah, people have to really take into account what they are sacrificing for this,
Hmm.
and really what are you doing it for?
Hmm.
Because for me, I love, I'm a minimalist,
Hmm.
right? So I would be happy with $20,000. Me, I think I need to have 20 million though,
Hmm.
because I don't know why I'm hustling. I just think I'm hustling. Oh, it's super fun. I'm
Hmm.
hustling with all this trauma behind me and me
Hmm.
like I'm good
Hmm.
enough. But when it's all said and done, I just really want me a little tiny house, sit on the beach somewhere
Hmm.
and be happy and just be doing what I'm doing right now.
Hmm.
That's the crazy thing. I don't need much at all to be happy. So why am I chasing? Like literally, why am I chasing day in, day out, not getting no sleep, not really eating, going to the hospital, everything is low,
Hmm.
vitamin vitamin D deficient, anemia,
Hmm.
my dang they trying to take my colon out,
Hmm.
super stressed the fuck out because I want 2, 3, 4 million dollars, but what would I do when I have it? Give it away? Because I'm still in survivor's mode.
Yeah. It's like chasing after your tail. Like it's not. It's one of those things where we've just been programmed to try to pursue the fantasy without realizing why was that fantasy created to begin with. Why am I chasing after this idea that I think that one day if I get this, then I'll be able to be okay? Not realizing if you tell yourself you'll be okay because what you're associating to being okay is just a feeling. But it's like, oh, I thought that once I made my first million, it'll feel differently. And it's like, no, it don't. It's not the million that makes you feel that way. You will feel the way you feel whether you have $1 million in the bank or $10 million in the bank. Because again, the money is not what's fulfilling you. It's the lack of fulfillment that has you chasing the money. But you think if I get the money, then I'll be fulfilled. And it's like, no, if you get the money, it'll just validate why you still feel like you're not enough. Because in you pursuing that money, that was your way from escaping from the fact that you already felt like you wasn't enough. So now that you have the money, now it's forcing you to see you still feel like you're not enough.
Right.
But that's the thing. Most people they never reach the end goal to realize like, oh damn, having this money won't take away this pain that I feel. But when I was in the pain as a way to escape from experiencing the pain, I told myself, I need to hustle. I need to be busy. I need to do all this stuff, regardless of how your body was feeling. But that's your mind trying to disassociate from your body, because your mind can't feel pain. Only your body can. So that's why I'm working out. I mean, not working out. That's why I'm working so hard. That's why I'm not sleeping. That's why. And your body's telling me like, hey, I need help. Hold on now. What's going on? It's like your mind's like, no, I need to get this money. I need to get this bag. Forget you. And it's like, until you're in a hospital, your body will literally shut you down. And people don't get it. They think they could keep hustling and bustling and grinding. And it's like, hustle all the way in your 20s so then you could rest in your 30s. You might not make it out of your 20s if you hustle like that, because it's not designed for your body to hustle. Living in a constant state of survival mode releases a lot of cortisol in your body. And cortisol is not good in long, from a long time period. It's designed for like a short spurt. It's a survival mode, like adrenaline. Constantly running off adrenaline is not healthy to the body, because it's not designed to use that adrenaline as a way to keep you working.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to experience life, explore life, enjoy life, not to survive in this experience we call life.
That's right. I was one of them. I used to boast, oh, I ain't had sleep. I look at my posts, I ain't had no sleep today. I'm hustling. I'm getting this money. I'm getting this money. And I just look back at that shit like, damn, Khadijah. But it was a hell of an experience. I ain't gonna lie. I love the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back, I'm just like, yeah, you was killing yourself.
100%.
Like, how many years of life for that shit?
100%. That's why when I see women, seeing women talk about how much they hustle and how they get that bag, it's just like, damn, you don't even realize you really killing yourself based on the trauma that you've experienced. That's literally running your life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna prove to them how I don't never need nobody else in my life. I'm gonna prove to them how I'm gonna be better than all of them. And it's like, well, you're gonna prove to them that you're willing to kill yourself for the fact that you don't even want to connect to yourself. You're using them as motivation for the reason why you're killing yourself, or you're gonna run yourself into the ground. And it's like, for what? Just to say I told you so?
And I'm gonna tell people this. I remember that was me. I was like, I want to prove to a certain person. I ain't gonna say. I was like, I gotta prove this person, because all my life it was like, you ain't good enough. You ain't good enough. I couldn't do nothing. I finally had enough money, and I gave this person money. I'm like, see, I'm giving money. Like, see, I got it. I got it. You know, I'm flying all over the country and stuff like that. It ain't changed shit how he felt about me. Nothing. And I was like, I did all of this to try to prove a point. But the thing is, you can't change somebody's mind and how they feel about you, because it's not about you, it's about them. And so until they change how they feel about themselves, they will always see you as not good enough. There's no amount of money you can even give them. You could buy them a house, you could buy them a car. There ain't shit you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody out there that's like, oh, I just gotta make all this money so that this person love me, accept me, and prove to them that I'm good enough, you will never be good enough until they feel like they are good enough.
100%. And it's even in wanting to get them to love you, to accept you, it just reinforced the narrative that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, ooh, when I get this money, I'm gonna give him or give her this money so that she'll love me. But then that just reinforces she don't love you. And it's like, oh damn, here I am thinking that it's the money will change them, but the reality of it is they will change themselves, and that's based on them wanting to do that. And most people don't want to change because living in their limitation zone keeps them comfortable. They're psychologically stuck. If I don't feel like I'm enough, I'll never be able to see you as enough. If I don't feel like I'm lovable, or if I don't feel like I'm lovable or able to love, then I won't be able to love you. And it's like, once you start to understand, it's people's relationship to themselves that dictate how they interact and treat you, not you. Because you could do everything in your power to show them how much you love them. But again, if I don't feel like I'm worth love, I won't be able to receive the love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people sabotage, because it's their way of trying to validate the story of their unconscious belief about them not being enough. And it's like, bro, I see it. I'm like, do y'all not get tired of this?
Oh,
Like, no? Okay. I understand.
them beliefs is strong.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like I tried to sabotage the relationship that I'm in. Not tried
Yeah.
intentionally. I did things, said things that had nothing to do with him.
Hmm.
But because I've experienced it in the past, it was like, oh, he can't just love me for real. He can't, and it's
Hmm.
just like, he ain't know anything. It's literally all in my head.
Yeah.
He's either a devil or angel. It's in my head. It's people belief systems. That's the first thing to work on is what you believe.
100%. Man, it's an unconscious thing. Like the unconscious mind to me is just your body. And a lot of times all a belief is a thought that you have an emotional attachment to.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So it's like I believe this about myself, but it's like, no, if you can recognize that there's a belief there, that means you're not the belief itself, you're the awareness to the belief. But a lot of times people try to identify with their belief system based on who
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I don't feel like I'm worthy enough. So let me prove to other people that I am worthy. And it's like other people never said you wasn't worthy. Who told you that? You
Mm-hmm.
feel that way about you. I don't feel that way about you. So you're trying to prove to me that you're a certain way when you don't need to prove to me that you're a certain way because I accept you for who you are. But
Yeah.
you don't accept you for who you are. So now you're trying to prove to me that you and then when you prove to you when you do all that proving, it's like, damn, you don't appreciate me. And it's like, what makes you think that? Because you're not telling me how much you appreciate me, or because you're not telling me that you're not giving me the result that I thought I was gonna get by pushing myself into being this way for you. And it's like, no, be that way for you. Don't be that way for me. Because if you're being that way for me, that means you're inauthentic. You're not being genuine for you. Love you. Just be you. But when people don't like being themselves, they try to play a role and be somebody else. And that's no bueno.
That's why I think it's really important for people to know what their beliefs. What
Hmm.
what do you really believe? Because sometimes we go off of what other people believe a lot
Hmm.
instead of being like, this is what I truly believe. We don't really talk about us because again, we're always distracted thinking about other people and things like that.
Hmm.
But I was in a situation where somebody was triggering me. You're not a good mother. You're not, and the reason why you went out and try to get all this money is because of you, and not because of the kids. Da da da. And I'm just like, I'm confused as hell about what I believe about myself. So because I wasn't strong in my own belief,
Hmm.
I went ahead and rode their belief.
Hmm.
Made me feel bad about myself, but I'm just like, damn, I believe this person, obviously. Like you said,
100%.
it ain't you. It wasn't you. It's that somehow, some way, I started to believe in what you were saying.
Hmm.
And that's what made me act the way I acted because my belief system, I was acting off of my beliefs. Like, oh, I really believe I am a bad
Hmm.
mother. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like I literally had to go back and search for myself
Hmm.
to find, Khadijah, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this. This is who you are. This is who you are. Stop believing what they say.
Yep. 100%. Because and the thing is, before that, prior to whatever him saying that, you already had that unconscious belief there to begin
Yeah,
with. That's why it was able to resonate with you.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I kind of sort of already feel this way, and he
mhm,
just validated my
yeah,
narrative. So now it makes sense. I am this way. I am this, and it's like you're not that way. You just been taught that you were that way, and you identify with whoever projected that thought onto you, and that's all.
yep,
It's the same with insecurities. All insecurities really are is somebody else projecting their belief system onto you and you identifying with that belief system as if it's true.
yep,
And it's like, it's not true. So therefore, you're not actually insecure because you thought that they were talking to you, but they are actually talking about themselves. A lot of times, what a person is saying about you isn't about you, it's about them. But when you believe it to be true, then you make it about you. like it's my fault, and it's like, no, it's not. Nobody's at fault here. This is all about you learning to love you through this experience, and they're just there to help you learn to love you.
An experience. That's all this is, an experience.
That's it. We're having a human experience, but people, it's interesting. I'm telling you, life is very interesting to watch, especially when people think that life is a lot more than what it is. And it's like, no, we're here as energetic beings, spiritual
Yeah.
beings, having a human experience. That's it. Not trying to hold on to this experience, not trying to not experience this experience, is really understanding like all these experiences are just here to help you become more aware of yourself. That's it. Everything is a lesson. We're just here to learn. That's it. But when you think you know how you want life to go, that's when life never goes the way you want, because the things that you want is, again, rooted in limitation. Like, I know I want this for my life. And it's like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you couldn't even see yourself in this position.
Yeah.
But to think all of a sudden now you know how life is supposed to go, and you know what you want, and you identify what your wants as if that's the end all be all, not realizing that's the most limited thing that you can actually put on yourself, that's going to keep you stuck. Because once you get what you want, you'll realize it's still not enough, because you'll want more, and then you'll want more, and then you'll want more. Because the things that we want is coming from a lacking space within. That's why we want it. When you get what you want, do you still want it? No, because you have it.
I think 50 Cent said, he was talking about business when he was saying you should always act like you have everything, because that's when people give you everything. When you act like you have everything, that's when people want to just give you. I think it's the same way with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
When you act like you have everything, you start to receive everything.
But
It's like things.
the key is, it's not acting, because you already do have it.
Yeah, that's what.
It's like you're not acting like you have it. You are. Who said you don't have everything? Who told you you don't have everything?
Yeah.
You do have everything, but we've been taught to limit ourselves based on somebody else. Don't say that, don't do that, don't be this way, don't. So we learn to live, or we learn to identify who we are based on the limitation that's been placed on us. So now we think we need to act as if it's not real. You don't need to act, just be. Because you have everything you ever needed in this exact moment. It's just you believing that you don't, which is causing you to think that you don't. It's not.
Okay.
Mhm.
When you say acts, right? So it kind of reminds me of like when I had to speak, right? I had to act like I wasn't scared until I wasn't scared. So I
Mhm.
think there's levels to knowing or believing that you have everything. I
Mhm.
think because it's almost like, in my
Mhm.
opinion, your faith has to grow. You can't just one day wake up from having no faith to saying, "Oh, I can manifest a house." I think you have to start playing that part in
Mhm.
order for you to start being, like walking into the faith, walking into the existence.
Oh
But
yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. Where I was coming from is more so realizing the part of you that told you you were scared was not the reality of who you actually was. A lot of times it's based on what we've been taught that we are. What we've been
right,
taught, we've been programmed to look at through the lens of limitation. We've been programmed to project fear into this experience. So now I'm scared of what I'm thinking that possibly might happen, instead of realizing, just like the possibility of the negative thing happening,
right.
there's also a possibility of the positive thing happening as well. It's just what you're choosing to focus on. So it's like, I don't have faith in myself that I'll be able to do this. So therefore I'm scared. So I need to almost like put on a role and act like I'm doing. It's not realizing, and you acting, that's you really just being you. The, the act is
Oh,
you thinking you're scared.
yeah. So basically, the acting is you still being, but you just have not um, reached the level of like consciousness of like I am, I
Yes.
am. But it's just a little bit of a consciousness, like yeah, I'm. You know what I mean? But it's like
Hmm.
once you reach that awareness, that shit, it's like I get it, I get you. You
Yep.
always, because there's nothing.
You
It's just
wasn't.
consistent. It's a consistent
Hmm.
frequency, and then you just grow up or down. You know.
100%. It's one of those things where once you start to realize like it's really just understanding all aspects of you
Right.
is
Yeah.
is you. There's not a limit. There's not one aspect like this scared aspect of me is who I really am.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the not scared aspect of you is who you are too. The shy
Right.
aspect of you is who you are too. The confident aspect of you is who you are too. It's like we learn to almost like separate from who we are based on how we think about ourselves at that moment. It's like I feel like I'm not enough, but there's also a part inside of you that feels like you are enough. So which one do you want to identify
Mm,
with? Because all you are is just the
true.
awareness to it.
That's true.
That's it.
True.
It's, it's your power. We had a power. We just think we are powerless because we've been
Yeah.
taught that. Literally. That's why we look to others to validate us. That's why we look to the Bible, or we look to books, or we look to groups, or we look to, and it's like, you don't have to do that when you understand who you are. Once you understand who you are, you'll realize everything that you're not. And most of the stuff that we're not is based on somebody else telling us who we are. And that's not us. That's why a lot of times when you're going through certain experiences, you will start to pay attention to what lights you
Right.
up. And most of the times when we're experiencing certain things that don't light us up, we almost try to force ourselves to be lit by it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if you have to force yourself to be lit by it, that's your body trying to let you know that this is not what you need to be doing. But again, we've been so traumatized that we think that our body is wrong and our mind is right. When your body's right and your mind is just feeding off of how it's interpreting the bodily sensation that you feel. And once you get to that point, life flows.
When you were saying about there's really no like it's all on one spectrum
Mm-hmm.
basically, right? It's almost like telling a baby or telling like a toddler or telling your kid at 11, looking back at the toddler that couldn't crawl. Like
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't you, but it was
Mm-hmm.
you.
It
It was
was.
you couldn't crawl
Mm-hmm.
or you were scared. That was still you. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
take away from anything. Scared or scared, you are. That's just the part. You just on that side of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Not the spectrum where you can run, you can jump, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still a spectrum.
Mm-hmm. 100%. It's like realizing like the 5-year old isn't the you that you are now, but that don't make the 5-year old not you.
Yeah.
It's just the aspects of you.
Right.
It's like a part of me.
Right.
Like that's what the growth and development is. It's like understanding this is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you try to disconnect from certain aspects of you as a way to almost like invalidate those aspects, that's when there's a disconnect internally. And that's all healing is. People don't really understand is just healing just means to incorporate. It just means wholeness, integration, coming together with. When we go through traumatic situations or we go through things that hurt us, we try to disconnect. But the part we're trying to disconnect from is the part of us that wants to be reconnected. That's what healing is. You have to integrate. That's why when I hear people tell people you need to set boundaries, you need to protect your energy, you need to do it. I'm like, all those things are your way of trying to disconnect from how you feel. That's not healing, that's coping. And that's what's keeping you stuck.
That's true. That's true.
It's like I tell people, I don't want to help you when I have sessions. I'm like, I'm not here to help you cope. If you want to cope, go see a therapist.
That's
I'm
why
not here to help
run
you
from
cope.
you.
Yeah, I'm not here to help you cope. It don't do anything. Like I'm not here to help you become dependent on me. I'm
Yeah.
here to help you become independent of me so you can become dependent on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But in today's society, you don't make money teaching people how to heal themselves. You make more money by teaching people that they're not healed so that they can come to you so they can get the healing from you, but you don't really give them the healing. You just give them temporary coping mechanisms to soothe the pain. But it's like, I'm not here to soothe the pain. I'm here to heal the wound. That's it. Because once you heal the wound, the pain will no longer be there and you'll no longer need to cope with it.
That's the everyday ibuprofen. They tell you take one pill every day for the rest of your life. You'll never have a heart attack.
And that same pill is that'll cause you to have a stroke. And we don't get it. And it's like, damn, I took this pill all my life to not have a heart attack, which you didn't, but then you end up having a stroke. So
Yeah.
now you're on another pill. So now you're on another pill. And it's like, those pills aren't designed to heal. Those
Mm-hmm.
pills are designed to fix the symptom so that you don't feel the way you feel. not realizing you only feel that way because your body's trying to communicate that you have to stop doing something. But it's like, no, I don't want to stop doing something. I just don't want to feel this pain. Give me that
Yeah.
pill. Just like, okay, okay, we'll see how far that gets you.
And like you said, like healing, I remember there's no destination to healing. Like healing is never a destination. It's like you're always healing. Like you're always just becoming aware of yourself.
Hmm.
Continuous thing of becoming aware, becoming aware, becoming aware, becoming aware. It's just all growth. You know, you don't ever, it's like a tree, you know, those big oak trees like never die. They
Hmm.
just and keep growing and
Hmm.
they keep shedding and keep growing. They keep shedding
Hmm.
and keep growing. There's
Hmm.
nothing, there's no end goal, there's no ending to healing. That like you said, it's not even real. It's like it's just a part of life. It's just an experience that you learn from. An experience that you learn from.
100%. It's when we, again, it's been like, oh, we need to heal. Everybody needs to heal, but it's just integrating. Everybody just needs
Yeah,
to connect to how they feel.
yeah,
But you don't need, it's like you don't need another person to teach you how to do that. You already know how to do that. You already, based on the bodily sensation that you feel, you already are aware. It's just a lot of times we try to identify with the things that we are aware of as if that's who we are. And
yeah,
I use the example, it's almost like the little girl inside of you is wanting you to connect with her and heal her, but you like, no, I want to feel like the little girl. I don't want the little girl to feel that way. I want to feel that way. And it's like, no, it's not designed for you to want to feel how she feels.
yeah,
That's why you're just the awareness to her. We always are aware. That's all we are, is just awareness. You only see things from your perspective because that means that's your point of view. That's your awareness. And once you get to the level of awareness to realize that all you are is awareness and you don't have to identify with who you are
yeah,
based on your thoughts or based on your body, then that's when life shifts. Because now when you feel a certain type of way, you are able to almost like question and ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? And then if you understand, usually the sensation happens, and that sensation is what triggers the thoughts. So it has you focusing more on the thoughts than the sensation that you feel. But once you understand the thoughts are just there as a distraction
mm,
to how you feel, you start to pay more attention to how you actually feel.
yeah,
And once you start to pay attention to how you feel, then you can ask yourself, what is my body needing in this moment right now? And once you start to do that, you're responding to how you feel instead of reacting from it. Most people react from how they feel instead of responding to it. And that's why the world is the way it is. It's like I respond or I reacted that way because in my past, but I'm
mm,
like, this is not the same situation that you were in your past. That feeling may be the same,
mhm,
but this experience is not the same. And that's kind of what you were saying about using past relationships as a way to almost like govern this relationship.
mhm,
It's like you don't need that because you're not the same person.
mhm.
But when you still feel like you're the same person, you'll still move the same way because you have a belief that you are that same way because you attracted that person based on who you were. But now you're not the same person anymore. And that's the beauty about relationships because each each individual relationship that we experience can help us learn about ourselves in some way, shape, form, or fashion that we didn't know. But it's not based on being in that relationship. It's based on that person being unique to themselves. Because there's only one you in the world. There's nobody else like
Yep.
you. No two people are the same for a reason. So that means you can learn from each individual person you experience in some way, shape, form, or fashion based on their uniqueness. I don't even believe in negative or positive experiences, good or bad experiences. It's like, did you learn?
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe in failure because it's like, did you learn? It's like, I learned this. So how did you fail if you learn? It's again, it's a societal expectations that we place and try to limit and put things in box. And it's like, no, that's no, you can never fail at life, period.
You, you can't even win at life because you die. So it's like life technically the fuck got you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you lose everything that you could possibly have on earth. So there is no winning experiencing at the end of the day. Because if I walk outside, get hit by a car, it's like even if I got money, don't got money, if I got kids, don't have kids, got a husband, whatever, I'm gone. So the game is over. It's over.
Rat race. We've been taught that, and that's the belief. Like you, when you make all this money, you can't take it with you when you die.
Yeah.
But we literally live our lives chasing after money, and then when you get the money, it's the end of your life. Like you never even got to experience and really enjoy life because you was too busy chasing money. You was chasing after something, and if you're chasing after something, that usually means that it's running away from you.
Hmm.
You should never chase anything. You should only attract things to you. But when you feel like you need to chase it, that's you feeling like it won't ever come to you, which is again a lacking perspective. It's a lacking mindset. And when you believe you're lacking, you'll see things that validates the lack that you feel about yourself.
So Spence said you can't take it with you, but you can leave it to who you love. So I got something to say about that. Okay.
Man, me okay, yeah. You go and I'm gonna say something too.
Okay. So my thing, and I personally experienced this, like freaking personally experienced this. My whole goal was like, oh, I'm gonna leave my kids this. I'm gonna leave my kids that. I'm gonna like. I swear to goodness, all I wanted was my kids had this amazing life. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, money could not help my kids in the areas that they really needed it. For one, two, the chase prevented me from giving them the love and things that I really needed to give them at the time that they needed it. And three, they don't appreciate money the way I appreciate money because they never lived in poverty. So their relationship to money and hustle is a lot different than when I grew up, which means I could hustle my ass off all day, all night long. 70 years old, and them kids would be like, "Well, mom, all it was I just wanted to dance. Why you ain't just put me in dance class? That's all I really want." And
Mhm.
you literally looking at them like, but I just sacrificed all this time and energy to give you all of these cars and all of this safety. And they're like, well, I'm good. Like, I got a husband now. I'm good. I got my kids. And you just saying, like, damn, you did all of that when all you could have did is get a fucking insurance policy.
100%. Because your kids never asked for that. It's interesting how society works is because